Hi, everybody. Welcome. We are Stigma-Free Society. This is Wellness Chats with Nisha. Really happy to have an amazing guest today, NJ Yunjay. Would that be how do I pronounce?
You can pronounce it as NJ.
NJ, okay, well, great name. I just love it. So, NJ is our guest today. He is a basketball student athlete from Emory University, and he studied biology and English, and his mental health advocacy began during college. He's had the opportunity to guide his student peers through academic mentoring in college, as well as hosting mental health awareness events with the National Collegiate Athletic Association. NJ is a current research assistant at the Georgia Health Policy Center, concentrating in behavioral health and systems of care. Welcome, NJ.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me, Nisha, and the Stigma-Free Society.
Oh, it is our pleasure to have you. We're really excited to talk to you today. And we just really feel that a lot of the work that we're doing is aligned.
Absolutely.
And I just wanted to also let everyone know who's watching that in this time we're going to be talking about different things that are impacting our lives, and some people are finding this time in their life enjoyable, and some people are finding it stressful, and it's like the whole gamut in between. So we just want to make sure that if you feel like you're at risk or in crisis, or you feel that you may need some help right now, just know that you need to stop watching this and call 911 so our amazing first responders can do their jobs. And my name is Nisha Kare. I'm a registered clinical counselor. My background's in teaching, and I've worked with the Ministry of Children and Family Development. I currently own a media company, Human Biography, where we travel around the world and we create documentaries on amazing people doing good things. And we also create social media commercials. So I'm your host every Thursday at 2. And today we have NJ as our amazing guest. If you feel that somebody might benefit from this talk today, please feel free to share this link. So how are you today, NJ?
Doing great. Primarily just teleworking the time
Oh,
being and taking care of my dogs and hanging out with my roommates. So that's everything. Not too bad. Not too bad.
well, that sounds pretty good. Like it sounds like a good time. So NJ, you just have a very interesting life. Like just having been, a basketball player at,
Correction.
such a
It was a big.
pardon? Oh, sorry, baseball. Sorry, baseball player at such a high level. Can you tell us about like what that is like to be playing, so and being so passionate about something?
Um, well, I'm very lucky that I picked up this passion of mine, sports in general, because I was a multi-sport athlete growing up. So being a student athlete, my entire life, as you can imagine, time management was something I always had to work on, and that time
Yeah.
management, balancing a variety of tasks and responsibilities that drove me, like naturally, that has shaped me to become the force, to keep pushing forward and being persistent with my responsibilities. And so, and honestly, sport, like when I have kids later on, I most certainly get them to sports, because sports, so many soft skills that you're able to develop as a student athlete. And it's being in the community with other peers in your society. It's just great experience. So I'm very thankful for that opportunity to play all the way up until college. So, but yeah.
See, and I have two kids, they're 5 and 8, and I really believe that sports can help people in such a great way.
Oh yeah.
Especially when you might feel stressed out, or you feel pressure, or there's things going on. I feel like, and tell me if you agree, that sports is a great way to help kids, people just start to focus and
Oh
just
yeah.
start to, kind of feel good.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's being around people in general. I mean, majority of the sports, you are either playing with a teammate or playing against someone. So you're always around people. And so when you have that social relationship with others, it's something that really drives you. And as you mentioned, focus. It's you have to be on top of your things if you want to play sports and carry out your life with other responsibilities. So.
Yeah, I find that starting college can also be a very interesting time in our lives. And you became your mental health, you started your mental health advocacy in college, during college.
Yes.
What led you or guided you to do that at that
Yeah.
time of
So
your life?
sure, sure. So in high school, and then up until college, like I personally haven't had experience like mental health episodes to the extent where my life, temporarily shut down. But that
Yeah,
being said, I have experienced significant stress, some temporary depression, anxiety episodes during my athletics and academic career, right? But
yeah.
where it all started, though, me advocating, destigmatizing mental health was during my freshman year college, and the bulk of my mental health experiences concentrate on promoting mental illness, right? And so, but where it all started, so I received news about the death of a few friends, my former teammates in college,
Oh, I'm
uh,
sorry.
mates in high school during college my
Right.
freshman year, right? And I realized that they didn't have a positive support or an advisor to help them guide through the disappointments or stress.
Mm,
More importantly, some did not let others know that they were struggling due to the stigma. And the last
mm,
I experienced during my freshman year was of my close former teammate, right? And so that affected me quite a bit because I didn't do a good job personally, doing a good job of following up with him when he had a significant event happen in his life that led to his mental illness.
yeah.
When we're in high school together, and when he passed away, and not only was his immediate family affected, but affected the entire community. And so and I did not plan on revisiting that experience anytime soon. So during college, my sophomore year, I became an academic advisor for my peer groups, and essentially I just helped them become a more successful student in class. And for some of these cases, I came across students dealing with mental illness, right? And so I also worked on putting mental health projects and programs together, for the student athletes at my college, and
Oh,
have been able to lead and participate in national mental health campaign as well with the NCAA, as you mentioned earlier,
yeah.
and along with other national mental health organizations such as NAMI and National Alliance on Mental Illness and Stigma-Free Society and others. And so, yes, that's where I started.
That's amazing. And, you know, there probably is also pressures as an athlete that there's probably some feelings of like wanting to do your best, to be your best at all times. And I could imagine that would also maybe add some pressures to existing mindsets.
Hmm.
Did you find that maybe even as students are athletes that they have to worry about maybe not showing or sharing weakness, if you would say? Like, I don't like, not that it is a weakness, but that afraid of showing like I'm not perfect.
Right. A lot of the decisions made by the student athletes in the context of athletics um, rely on playing time, you know, and
Yeah.
being able to play collegiate sports. And so, as I've experienced, promoting mental health advocacy and speaking to other student athletes, it is I do hear that repeatedly.
Yeah.
It's it's not something that they like to talk about because
Right.
the coaches will be aware, and so would their
Mm.
their teammates who that may affect their trust in their ability to perform in the game, such as that nature.
Yeah.
So it's tough. It's really tough. That's
Yeah.
why it's so important, in my opinion. So to have a close teammate or a non teammate, so
Yeah.
on campus, so that one or two friend. Honestly, it takes really one close friend to have with
Yeah.
you and being able to speak your thoughts. And so that's one huge advice I'd like to share with young
Yes.
adolescents and student athletes, that you need to actively search for that one point of contact and be able to share
Oh,
your thoughts. Yeah.
I love that. I love that because really, you're right. That's all it takes is one person.
Yeah.
And if you're a parent or guardian or teacher, I think it's important to help kids find that even one person they can trust.
Right.
right? And develop that relationship so you have someone to talk to. It's extremely valuable, right? It can like
Totally.
change everything.
Totally.
Um, and so, why don't we talk a bit about your personal mental health experiences? When did you start feeling or noticing things within your own journey?
Personally, you know, prior to, I think the first significant mental health adversities I experienced was through that process of applying to colleges. You know, applying to
Okay.
colleges and applied to quite a few, and
Hmm.
I got into some that I like, but I didn't get into others that I really want to get into. And so
Yeah.
that process, was tough for me because
Yes.
very hard, of course, like many other students too. And so that was, quite a shock to me.
Yeah. It's
Um,
emotional.
right, right. And so that was the most major event. But like as I mentioned prior, like just throughout my life as a student athlete, of course, like being able to maintain, your AP classes, and then eventually taking 20 credit hours during college, and along that, conducting research, on campus, and participating in other extracurriculars. Like it did really get overwhelming, and so just at the end of the day, though, I kept, to myself in terms of when I, would set a time to self-reflect. So self-reflection is such a key component to maintaining your mental health. And so, a lot of my, a lot of the cases where I was able to overcome my stress and mental health and anxiety at times was to tell myself, why am I doing this in the first place? And
Yeah.
so, and that why question, and as you know, like when students apply to colleges and and jobs, like they ask the why question, and so I never really understood that until when I got into college, and I ended up like repeatedly I tell myself that I have to have this why in order to um, maintain my progress and my everyday activities, and so that's one other advice that I'd like to give based on my experiences.
Yeah, that's super, super great insight, right? I feel that the more we share about our experiences,
Yeah,
the more we look into ourselves to understand, like, what is it that I'm going through and why?
right,
Like, what is the lesson here? What can I do with this? Am I here to help others? Can Is it that I need to share my story in order to help others not feel alone? And I feel that you have chosen this path, right? That you
mhm,
want to help others, you want to share your story, and I really commend you for that. I think
well,
that's something very honorable and something very beautiful,
thank
because
you.
I think, as we go through life, I've seen many people struggle alone. And even myself, I think for many years, I wouldn't talk about my mental health issues or any challenges I had or anxiety or depression. It just always presented as I'm fine. I'm an A+ student and I'm a high achiever and I just get everything done with a smile on my face. So don't worry about me. However, it wasn't easy.
Yeah,
And I think if I had just maybe opened up, or someone had said, like, hey, are you okay? Or it's okay where you're at, that that changes things.
right,
What kinds of things have helped you along the way cope and adjust and just work with
right,
your mental health?
right. So since I addressed the why question a few minutes ago, so I found myself, naturally, and finding it enjoyable to be around others, right? I'm an athlete, so I've been around the team culture all my life. And
Yeah.
so when I embarked on a variety of journeys, and I naturally over time found myself, trying to, do good for others, right? Whether it's individual or a group or an organization, right? And so as I kept asking the why questions, how these why questions that pertain to how I can better the group or the individual. I
Yeah.
found myself that my performance, someone is depending on my performance, right? And so, and I, take pride in that, if because I am, doing something for others, like I have to maintain my, my task and task for the individual group, right? And in order, and however, if I don't, and I stop mid between because I break down or whatnot, like that's going to affect others. So having that mindset of always including people around you with your goals really will keep you, on top of your things, and keep pushing it. But again, everyone's different. But personally, that's how I was able to, push myself. But other coping methods, throughout my journey. So currently with COVID, so like as I mentioned earlier, so hanging out with people, roommates, and not instead of staying, in our own separate rooms on our computers, and
Yeah.
taking care of my dog really helped. But the and as I mentioned, promoting mental illness, and sharing
Yeah.
stories, and encouraging others to share their stories through the campaign that I co-founded with the other friends. And but more importantly too, like keeping myself busy and doing what I love.
Yeah.
Doing what I love is what really helps me. Because and in pursuing different leads and building our Tell My Story Challenge Foundation nonprofit was enjoyable for me, because I have not lost sight of why I embarked this adventure, which was to help avoid the kind of situations my teammates had, with mental illness, right? And so,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, advice I like to share, creativity. So with creativity, I mean, so when you have all this time, well, I can't say all of this time, because some may not have this luxury,
Yeah.
but when
Yeah.
you have the time available, finding what you enjoy doing. So like hobby, if you don't have a hobby, with trial and error, find what you love to do, and then your passion naturally takes over, and with passion that stimulates your mind and your mental health, and that would play a significant role in relieving some of the burden and the stress that you have. And so,
I think that's a great idea. And let's talk about your campaign.
sure,
Sounds amazing. Tell us about it. Tell us about the organization. How did it start?
sure. So how the Tell My Story Challenge all started. So after 2 to 3 years of promoting mental health awareness on campus, at my college campus, one late summer, the idea of destigmatizing mental health by including a personal component, right, and framing it as a social media challenge, to accompany
Hmm.
our shorter attention span and the retention rate of social media viewers. That idea came to mind, and so then I worked with college students, college athletes, and we put together the product of the video and what's going to go in the video, and also sought after other national organizations, including the NCAA and NAMI, and Stigma-Free Society, to help promote the campaign, right? And so this Tell My Story challenge the mission statement is to demonstrate the prevalence of mental health and stress in our communities,
Mm.
including family, friends, neighbors, and coworkers, in order to help those in need feel less secluded. And so the
Wow.
objective is for peers to help peers instead of solely relying on behavioral health providers, which frankly are not available to everyone. And so I'm just saying that your peers and the people that who make up your immediate surroundings can play a significant helpful role for a victim addressing his or her mental health. And so that's
Wow.
all started. And eventually, a few years down the road, we're going to continue pushing the campaign, and with a heavier concentrated push, starting in August here, with videos, and also connecting with the donors and partnership to eventually grant, you know, um, in order to eventually fund primary and secondary schools trying to implement behavioral health services or programs, and to others who are working on campaigns or projects to help raise awareness of the stigma. And
Wow. This is
so,
fantastic. I absolutely love it. I love the idea of reaching people through social media, right? And helping them share their stories so that people don't feel alone, right? Like that we are and so tell us about like the response. Like, what's the response been like?
Yeah, I mean, like, so when I would when my team would reach out to others to make videos, they would make their videos and post on their accounts, and they'll tell us, dude, like our viewers, they love this. They really enjoyed the video. It's like a 45-ish average, 45-second-ish video, and like with the 45 seconds, like provided joy and like a sense of comfort, for their viewers, and so a lot of positive reviews. And you can see on our Twitter, Instagram, our social community, our identity of our social community has already been formed. It's really supportive and positive, and we've had numerous participants from all corners of the globe. And so
Yes.
that was pretty interesting because like there was like a 2-week spree where like numerous people from Africa made videos for us.
Wow.
So that was pretty cool. But
That's phenomenal. That's so phenomenal to have that global reach. That's what's so cool about social media, right? That you don't have to only like, and also I think that shows us mental health affects everyone globally. This is not something that is just within me or within you or within this community or because of our situation. It is a global experience, and that
right,
we can be connected with each other by knowing, like, yeah, someone in Africa, that's how I feel right now.
exactly.
And then I'm not alone because, it's not just me. It's
Right.
it's a it's a beautiful thing that you're doing that.
Yeah, and I enjoy it. Very much enjoy it. So yeah.
Tell us about that. Tell us about the joy that it brings you. Like,
I'll
how
give
does that,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. I'll give you an example. So
Okay.
I live in Atlanta, right? I'm sorry, because I attended school here at Emory. And so I went back home
Wow.
summer, past
Yeah.
summer, back to Texas where my family is. And this was during sorry, last past winter, not summer, past winter. And so I was still in the middle of starting this campaign, and I reconnected with some of my friends from back home, and these two guys also played college sports. One played hockey, the other played
Mm.
soccer.
Wow.
Um, and they're great friends of mine. We played pickup basketball quite a bit when we were younger, and so I reached out to them. We hung out, and then they knew about the campaign too. So of course I asked they can put this campaign or put their video together, and so they did it together. So both of them were in the
Oh,
video, and one of their coping methods was having each other. Having that one friend,
wow.
right? And so I was filming, right? And I got quite emotional because like those guys, they're athletes, and it's because I'm coming from an athletic background, and the
Yeah.
teammate that I lost, who was also a basketball player, uh, like it was quite emotional for me because they helped each other. They were able to help each other, right? As they
Yeah.
mentioned in the video, and that could have easily been me and my teammate, that I lost.
Yeah.
And so
Wow.
and that team I lost too, like we were very close. We were, we were quite close, but the stuff happened, and but yeah, I got quite emotional watching those two talk about how they help each other, and so that's
Wow.
the
I think,
words, yeah,
yeah, like that's what it's those moments, right? That we just really feel things deeply, where you see that the work that you're doing is having impact, right? That
yeah,
even you asking them to film that probably brought awareness to them of how important they are for each other.
yeah,
Maybe sometimes we don't even realize how important it is to have someone in our corner or someone that you can go to. And you
right,
created it not only for them, but also for like maybe other athletes to be inspired by that, or other kids who are looking
right,
up to those two, and just, it's making a difference and making a change. Um, so I really love that you're doing this work. What do you think, so you're doing this help to like make things and people more aware. What do you think society can do to help people be more aware of the disorders, and also how to stop these stereotypes that, people unwittingly create or have?
right. So I smile right now because this analogy that I share with others. So and some like it, some may not, but yeah. So society, I believe, can address mental health stigma in a similar way how a naive incoming college student views alcohol, for instance, right? For
Yeah.
instance, for instance, student comes into college with that negative stigma surrounding alcohol, that was instilled by their parents early
Yeah.
on. And by the student's third year in college, he or she may be exposed to alcohol because there's no escaping alcohol on many college campuses, and that's the fact.
No,
That's the
it's a
fact.
fact. Yeah, for
That
sure.
is a real
Definitely lots of pressure to drink.
right. And so the stigma surrounding the alcohol has become normalized or numbed to the student, and therefore the student may not stigmatize the alcohol that he sees the people in his surroundings using compared to day one, his day
Mm,
one on campus, right? And so this concept, although not a positive example, represents destigmatizing the value or idea, and more people on campus, the more and more people on campus talk about drugs or alcohol, and that is why the term drug and alcohol has become normalized to the student, right? And so same
yeah,
way with mental health stigma, you will know when a concept or idea has been destigmatized when people are comfortable to share their
yeah,
personal experience with mental health. And to get there, people must feel that they're not secluded, and resulting in them sharing and reaching out to their peers about their mental health. And in the end, people identify themselves with mental health, whether the identification occurs through writing, a photo or video or message that reveals what the issues the person deals with, or a message on how they cope with stress, mental health. This will get our society closer to removing the stigma surrounding the words mental illness. So,
no, I think that's extremely important in that what advice do you have for people who are dealing with these disorders personally?
personally, so I mean, we covered a lot of great coping methods here and advices, but
Yeah.
you
Like
know,
how can they get involved maybe even like in your movement? How
oh, yes,
can
sir. Absolutely. Well, if you guys, whoever is viewing, if you're interested,
Mm,
our account or our social media account for the challenge, our campaign will be available. So I'm sure, it's at, Tell My Story C, and we're primarily on Twitter and Instagram, but
okay,
we have decent amount of content on Facebook as well. But
great.
yes, if you like to participate, it's a short video, 45-second ish video where you share how you deal with stress or mental health. Simple as that. And then because it is a social media challenge, normally there is a physical activity, component to a social
Mm,
media challenge. So after you share your coping method, you physically enact or include that coping method in your video. So, and then you can tag other friends to and challenge them to post their coping method. But
wow.
as you can tell, like I never mentioned what your problems were. There's
Mm,
it will be harder for people to open up about that. But that being said, some videos, some participants share more. They talk, they flesh out what they had to deal with and how they overcame it.
mm,
So, uh,
wow.
but yeah, so that's how you can get involved for the campaign. So
So I highly encourage everyone, get involved in this campaign. It sounds amazing. I feel like even the idea of sharing what you've experienced or what's going on for you or how you cope and then tagging someone, that's really like that's power there. That's a very cool way to even involve your friends or like
yeah,
just even create some conversations. Could you imagine you tag a friend, the next time you see each other, what you talk about of like, hey,
right,
yeah, like that's what I was feeling, and this is what I go through, and
right,
this is what I do, and maybe if I'm experiencing this, this is how you might help me. How can I help you? Right. So I think creating conversations about mental health
right,
and normalizing it, that's what it's all about, right? That's not it's like
right,
being stigma free. And so,
right.
NJ, we just love this. We love the work you're doing. So, what do you hope to accomplish through your mental health advocacy? Like, how are you going to change the world?
Well, the mental health advocacy is something, of course, I'm passionate about, right?
Yeah,
And but my future goals, I'm interested in pursuing a career in healthcare, right? And
excellent.
um, and so within that career, I expect to, help others through a one-on-one intervention, but also through public health.
Mm.
agencies. And so I'm personally interested in working for the social inequalities and the underserved communities. And so that's where a lot of my public health policy advocacy will reside. And but pertaining to with mental illness, with this nonprofit as well, something that I intend on building over the next few years with my amazing coworkers and partners, so that we can at some point collect these donations and fund programs and provide a service
Wow.
for the youth, primarily the youth, as I mentioned earlier, primary and secondary schools. But of course we're open to other institutions. But yeah, so targeting early intervention is key, as you know, as a
Yes.
yeah. So
I think early intervention is everything, and helping reach kids when they're young so that they feel like I can talk to someone, that I'm heard, that someone cares, I'm
right,
not alone. All those things can make a difference from like if you do it early on.
right,
And I just feel like, our future is bright with you in it and the things that you're doing, and that you're so passionate and driven and motivated. Um, we just need more of this in the world. So thank you for all the work, NJ. It's beautiful work, and everyone, please go do your Tell My Story. It's a fantastic idea, and it'll just change things. 45 seconds, right?
right.
It's like 45 seconds to tell a story, and it can make all the difference in someone's life. So as part of Stigma-Free Society, I want to say thank you, NJ, for taking the time to talk with us today. We wish you all the best on the work that you're doing, and let's keep connected, because I think the
So
work that you're doing and Stigma-Free doing is it's very aligned. So
absolutely.
all the best to you. Much love to you in Atlanta.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah.
Yes, enjoy Atlanta. Goodbye from Vancouver, and keep an eye out for all the great things that NJ Kim is about to do and is
Thank
doing.
you. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much, NJ. Take care, everyone. See you next
Have a good
week.
day. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.